So a frustrating couple of weeks after getting the engine in and all sorted. Snowden had a small oil leak after trying to bodge it, thinking that I'd messed up the gasket because it was on the side of the diff housing. Turned out it was actually an issue with the casting. So, hold the line. Here we have the original casting from the diff housing was connected. Here we see, just here, a small hairline crack. So what we're seeing was when the engine was on the car, after I topped up the oil a bit more, there was a small amount of oil I thought was coming from this bolt. Turns out you can see a nice hairline crack. So, as always, off to eBay, ordered a new one. New one rocks up, gave it a good clean up, and lo and behold, a crack around the casting. Spoke to the seller, honestly, really good. And they've sent me a replacement. Clean this up, no cracks. So, new seal is in. So now I've got to clean up underneath the car and get that banged on. Absolute nightmare. So while tightening up the nuts to put the casing on, I ended up stripping the thread. So it was an engine out job, and I had to figure out how to use helicoils, which was actually quite good. So watched a few YouTube videos about how best to do this. Put some tape to try and reduce the swarf getting into the main bearing. It actually went really well. So drilling out the hole, tapping in the increased thread size, and then inserting the new helicoil thread. Actually worked really nicely. Not the greatest work in the world, but did the job. Engine back in, and then down to torturing my lad, putting on the manifold. That's the engine. Managing to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Suppose it was a slow job, you know. Yeah, cool. Oh no! There you go. Yeah, see that one on there. Oh no, that one's kind of a bit short. You can do that one. Okay. Yeah, this side's longer. So yeah. Yeah, they tend to be when they're old. Right, all that's left now is the other awkward one. So quick test on the pressure, hopefully it's fine. Next to the centre. So I thought I'd do a bit of an update, just kind of catch up on what's been going on, because it's been a couple of weeks of just doing lots of little bits, no significant work, so I've not really done any filming. It's due to the nature of just raw mail being bang on and just losing some bits. Just get it auto tracked and just doesn't bother listening to that. So that delayed me quite a bit, and then having to do some additional work that I didn't know about. So thanks, big shout out to Mike's Projects who commented on the last video. So when I ordered and replaced the bell housing on the diff, I needed to take off the other side and redo the shims to make sure that the diff is kind of held in place. Yeah, complete oversight. Hadn't thought about it all. Another problem I had, I stripped a thread when doing putting the replacement bell housing on. So once again, me down to the rescue of telling me about helicoils. So managed to put a helicoil thread in there. That's done the job bang on. So I've managed to get those all up to torque, which was rather nerve-wracking. What else have we done? So we've had the engine out to do that. I kept the engine out while I checked to make sure that it didn't leak all the oil out again. It's been dry now for a few days, which is all good. Another thing we've done, we've had problems with the brakes, so I've done all new brake lines, and I'll show in a minute. But on the master cylinder, the line for the rear brakes has an M12 connector going in it. I'd ordered the shorter of the two types, which meant that when I filled it up, pushed down the brake pedal, I filled the engine bay with oil, brake fluid, sorry. Knowing how corrosive that is and how much problem that causes people in the future, I then stripped all that out, cleaned it all up, put new gaskets, put that back in. So another problem of causing myself an issue, having to order new parts, new gaskets and stuff like that, and bring those back in. So yeah, that's been another delay, but I'd rather do that now, and I did that while the engine was out, than wait till the engine was back in, trying to clean it all up, or just ignoring it and then regretting it probably in not that long a time. Also put in a new oil sensor, new oil pressure sensor, because the other one was obviously stuck. So when I was having a look and I doing priming of the oil pump, I noticed it was staying with the resistance. It wasn't going open circuit, which meant it was it's obviously stuck from just being sat there for God knows how long, and this, that, and the other. So we've got a new one on. So yeah, mentioning that, I have tried to prime the oil pump. I've done a bit of turning over, but just with my battery, my jump start pack, which isn't giving it enough to try. So I think I'm just going to commit and try and start the engine and see if we get oil pressure that way. If we're not, we'll investigate further, but we'll see how that goes. What else? It's just been a case of bolting bits and bobs on, really, trying to get it to the stage now. So I think I've done a bit of adaptive wiring, so we're kind of at the stage now where the core pack works, we get spark. We're still unsure if we're getting oil pressure, so I think we're just gonna try and start it. But yeah, I'll quickly do a bit of a review of the issue I had with the brake lines though, because I think that was important and it was a terrible learning lesson. So here we are on the Mini. So so initially I'd made this nice brake line going from for the rear brakes, so going from M12 down to the M10 brake line into the bias. But yeah, if you have a look, there's a small difference in the length there, and what was happening was, I was screwing this fully in, but it wasn't actually compressing the end of the line. So the first time I pressed it, it just absolutely pissed oil all over the place. So that was a painful learning lesson of doing a bit more research and going, oh, actually, there's different lengths of these that you can get, and I had completely ignored that factor. Lesson learned. 4 spark plugs,
Should I put them in like that?
Yeah, they're only going on, mate.
What are spark plugs?
So, how the engine works, remember I started saying it the other day, so it sucks in the fuel goes in there, the air goes in there, and the carburetor mixes them, so it becomes like a flammable gas. When it gets sucked in, then the spark plug, when it squishes the air and the fuel, the spark plug then sparks it, and that's what makes the explosion. And that's what makes the piston go down. Yeah?
Yep.
So these are just what make the flame happen. So you can do them up gently. They don't need to be ridiculously tight.
No, so I can do them ridiculously tight.
Right, so we've got fuel I need. So there's a little jerry can. A little bit of petrol back here.
How long to get to this point?
Well, You know, I bought the car 15 years ago, so if you want to start from then, that was the last time it was running.
Like from when.
Well, it's only taken us a few weeks. Well, maybe a month
No,
or two.
like just like from getting all the engine done and everything, just to get to this point. How
Couple of
long?
months. Yep.
A couple of months. Or like a couple of years.
Well, yeah, I've done little bits over the years, but.
So, yes. Why do they have to be at certain points?
Because, so in here, so this is the coil pack, so this takes the 12 volts and this makes it to a higher voltage. And then inside here, there's a little arm that rotates round, the engine moves it. And when so the high voltage from here is touching the middle of the arm, and as it rotates round, when this one's at the top, so here's the cable here, so when this piston's at the top and it needs to make the explosion, the arm, it turns to that point, and then it sends the spark, or it sends the voltage to the spark plug to make it go. And then the engine, that makes the engine turn more, the engine turns more, then it gets to this point, and then that's the wrong one, so because that should be on 3. So which ones of these are wrong? Yeah, we might have this issue because it's supposed to go 1, 3, 4, 2. Whoop! Oh, in the face. I think now the wrong way around. There we go. So it goes around further. So then it makes this one spark, and then it goes around further. Then it makes number 4 spark. And it goes all the way around to this one, and it's number 2 spark.
Why does it have to be in that certain order?
It's how the engine is designed, how the engine is made. So I think it's designed to do it to make it a bit more balanced, so it doesn't shake so much by distributing where the explosions are on the engine. So should we see?
Yeah.
Flammable liquid, so we can just spray it into it and then we can try and start it. Are you ready to try and start it? It's all connected up. Okay, give it a try.
No way.
Just give it a second now, yeah. Do that one to the rest. nose. Little blow nose. There we go. Woo!
We got it!
Did try, didn't it? It's spooky here now.